Do you know anyone who has spent years trying to quit smoking? Not weeks, not months, but years, and failed every single time. They tried the patches, they tried the gum, they went cold turkey on a Monday, and were back outside with a cigarette by Thursday. And every time they failed, a little piece of them stopped believing they could ever actually change. Maybe that person is someone you love. Maybe, if you're being honest with yourself, that person is you. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a man named Daniel. He smoked for over 20 years. He tried everything the doctors recommended and everything the internet promised. And he failed over and over until one rainy afternoon when his young daughter looked up at him and asked, "Daddy, why do you always smell like smoke?" And something inside him just broke. What happened next is not what you'd expect, because the answer to his problem didn't come from a prescription or a program or sheer willpower. It came from a quiet room, an elderly Japanese doctor, and one instruction so small that Daniel almost laughed out loud when he heard it. By the end of this story, you're going to understand why everything you've been told about breaking an addiction is probably backwards. And there's one thing the doctor told Daniel, the last piece of this whole system, that almost nobody realizes until it's too late. I'll get to that. But first, let me take you back to where this all began. Daniel was 43 years old. He'd smoked since he was 22. Which means nicotine had been part of his daily life for longer than some of his friends had been married. He wasn't reckless about it. He knew the risks. He'd read the warnings, seen the commercials, heard the lectures from his doctor at every annual checkup. He wasn't ignorant. He was trapped. Beyond just being a bad habit, nicotine had chemically rewired his brain. It triggers the release of dopamine, the chemical responsible for feelings of pleasure and reward. And over time, smoking hijacks that system entirely, creating a shortcut to relief that your brain starts to depend on. So every time Daniel felt stressed at work, or anxious in traffic, or bored after dinner, his brain didn't ask whether he wanted a cigarette. It just sent the signal, automatically, like breathing. Habits like smoking develop through a simple cycle. A cue triggers the behavior, a routine follows, and a reward reinforces it. Over time, this loop makes the habit feel completely automatic. That's the part most people miss. By the time you've smoked for 2 decades, you're not making a choice anymore. You're following a program your brain wrote for you years ago. And that's exactly why every attempt Daniel made collapsed. Nicotine patches helped with the physical craving. Willpower helped for a few days. But neither one touched the loop. Neither one rewrote the program. Then came that afternoon with his daughter. She was 7 years old. She climbed into his lap, pressed her little face against his jacket, and wrinkled her nose. "Daddy, why do you always smell like smoke?" She didn't say it to hurt him. She was just curious. But he sat there holding her and felt the full weight of 21 years land on his chest all at once. He wasn't just a smoker trying to quit. He was a father who smelled like cigarettes to his own child. And he realized quietly and completely that he didn't want to be that person anymore. A friend pointed him toward a doctor. Not a pulmonologist, not an addiction specialist in the traditional sense, but an elderly Japanese physician named Dr. Yamamoto, who had spent decades studying behavioral change. The office was simple. A wooden desk, 2 chairs, a window overlooking a small garden. No posters, no clinical smell. It felt more like sitting with a professor than visiting a doctor. Daniel told him everything: the 20 years, the failed attempts, the patches, the vapes, the cold turkey weekends, the look on his daughter's face. Dr. Yamamoto listened without interrupting, and when Daniel finished, the doctor didn't open a prescription pad. He just asked one question: "How many times have you tried to quit?" "I don't know, 8, maybe 10 times." "And how long did each attempt last?" Daniel thought about it. "A few days, a couple of weeks once." The doctor nodded slowly. "You failed," he said, "because you tried to win a 20-year war in a 2-week battle. Your brain spent 20 years building this habit, and you expected to undo it in days." He paused. "I'm going to ask you to do something different. Something so small, you'll think I'm wasting your time. But I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" Daniel said yes. "For the next 2 weeks," Dr. Yamamoto said, "I don't want you to quit smoking." Daniel blinked. "Sorry?" "Don't quit. Smoke as much as you normally do. But before every single cigarette, before you even take it out of the pack, I want you to do one thing. Take 5 slow, deep breaths, that's all. 5 breaths. Then you can smoke." Daniel sat with that for a moment. He'd paid for a consultation to be told to breathe. He almost said something sarcastic, but something in the doctor's calm stopped him. "That's the whole instruction?" Daniel asked. "That's the whole instruction," Dr. Yamamoto said. "For 2 weeks, nothing else changes." What the doctor didn't fully explain in that moment, and what Daniel would only understand later, is that this tiny instruction was doing something profound inside his brain. The habit of smoking had become a behavioral loop that the brain learned and repeated automatically. The loop involves a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue might be a feeling, a place, or a time of day. The routine is the physical act of smoking. The reward is the temporary relief. Over time, this cycle becomes automatic, making it difficult to break even when the desire to quit is strong. Those 5 breaths weren't about relaxation. They were a deliberate interruption, a tiny pause inserted between the cue and the routine. And that pause, that 2-second gap, was the beginning of everything. This is what the Japanese call Kaizen. One of the core pillars of Kaizen is the belief that small, consistent changes can lead to significant transformations over time. The key to getting started is identifying a habit or area of improvement that, while seemingly minor, delivers an immediate positive impact. The idea is to try getting just 1% better every day. If you can make tiny improvements over months and years, you can move mountains. Daniel went home that night feeling a little silly, but he did it. Before every cigarette, 5 breaths. The first day felt pointless, the second day slightly less so. By day 4, something strange happened. He reached for a cigarette after lunch, started his 5 breaths, and by the 3rd breath, the craving had softened just a little. Not gone, just softer, like the volume had been turned down slightly. He kept going. 2 weeks. Every cigarette, 5 breaths first. He didn't smoke less. He didn't feel dramatically different. But he had done one thing consistently for 14 days. And that, Dr. Yamamoto told him at their next meeting, was the entire point. "You've just proven something to your brain," the doctor said. "You've proven that you can interrupt automatic behavior, that there is a gap between the urge and the action. Most people never find that gap. You just did." Daniel felt something shift, not in his lungs, in his sense of himself. Now, the doctor said, I want to ask you something. Why do you actually want to stop smoking? Not the health reasons, not what you're supposed to say. Why, really? Daniel thought about his daughter's face, the way she'd wrinkled her nose. I want to be someone she's proud of, he said. I want her to hug me and not smell cigarettes. I want to be the kind of man who takes care of himself. Dr. Yamamoto smiled. That, he said, is your Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that translates to a reason for being. It's the idea of finding one's purpose in life and aligning it with one's passions, skills, and values. The Japanese believe finding and pursuing your Ikigai is the key to a long and happy life. And in the context of quitting smoking, it changes everything. Because when your reason to quit is just cigarettes are bad for you, that's information. But when your reason is I want to become the kind of father my daughter deserves, that's identity. And identity is far more powerful than information. The doctor explained the difference carefully. Right now, he said, you tell yourself, I am a smoker trying to quit. That framing keeps you in a losing battle. What I want you to start saying, not out loud, just to yourself, is this: I am becoming someone who doesn't need cigarettes. He paused. Every breath you took before a cigarette this past 2 weeks, that was evidence. Evidence that you are already becoming that person. Now remember, I told you at the beginning, there was one thing almost nobody realizes until it's too late. We're getting close to it. Keep watching. Over the following weeks, Dr. Yamamoto added one small rule at a time. In week 3, never smoke indoors. In week 4, delay every cigarette by 10 minutes after the craving hits. In week 5, remove just one automatic cigarette per day. The one after lunch, the one with morning coffee. Pick one and replace it with a 5-minute walk. Not forever, just that one. Research shows that consistent repetition of new responses to old triggers accelerates this rewiring of the brain. Each time a craving passes, without acting on it, the brain's self-control pathways grow stronger. Daniel was doing exactly this, one tiny rule at a time, without even knowing the neuroscience behind it. Some days were easy, some days were brutal. There was a Tuesday in the 5th week where everything went wrong at work. A project fell apart, his boss was furious, and he smoked 4 cigarettes in an hour. He went home feeling like he'd destroyed everything he'd built. He called Dr. Yamamoto that evening, expecting disappointment. Instead, the doctor said something that stopped him cold. Daniel, did you smoke 4 cigarettes or did you smoke 20? 4. 6 months ago, what would a day like today have looked like? Daniel was quiet. Probably a full pack, he admitted. Then today was not a failure, the doctor said. Today was evidence of who you're becoming. You slipped, you didn't collapse. This is Wabi-Sabi, one of the oldest ideas in Japanese philosophy. Wabi-Sabi is about finding beauty in the imperfect, the impermanent, and the incomplete. It's the idea that flaws do not necessarily negate something's worth. By practicing Wabi-Sabi, we are taught to be grateful and accepting, and to strive for excellence rather than perfection. Applied to breaking a habit, it means this: one relapse is an event. Giving up is the habit. The old version of Daniel would have used that Tuesday as proof that he couldn't change. The new version looked at it as a data point and kept going. And then there were the days that were simply hard for no particular reason. No trigger, no crisis. Just a gray afternoon where every cell in his body wanted a cigarette and there was no logical reason to resist. Those were the days that tested him most. Dr. Yamamoto had a word for those days too: Gambaru. It's a Japanese concept that means to persist with full effort, especially when it's difficult. Not to be perfect, not to feel motivated, just to keep going. On those days, Daniel's only goal wasn't to quit forever. It was to delay the next cigarette by 5 more minutes. Then 5 more. That's it. Sometimes success isn't quitting today. Sometimes success is just refusing to surrender today. The concept of Kaizen teaches us the value of patience and the impact of small, consistent changes. It's about embracing progress over perfection and understanding that excellence is achieved not overnight, but through a series of gradual, unyielding efforts. And that's exactly what Daniel was doing. Not dramatically, not heroically, but quietly and consistently, one tiny promise kept at a time. By month 4, something had shifted that he hadn't expected and couldn't fully explain. He would go through an entire morning and not think about cigarettes once. Not because he was white-knuckling through it, just because the thought didn't come. His brain had started to stop asking the question. And here is the thing that almost nobody realizes: the piece I told you I'd come back to. The reason most people fail at quitting smoking isn't physical. For many, quitting smoking transcends simple willpower, becoming a profound neurological struggle between the brain's craving circuits and its capacity for self-control. But even beyond the neuroscience, the deepest reason people fail is this: they spend years trying to quit while still identifying as a smoker. They fight the habit from the outside. They use patches and programs and motivation, but they never change the story they tell about themselves on the inside. Daniel didn't quit smoking by fighting cigarettes. He quit by becoming someone who no longer needed them. Every breath before a cigarette was evidence. Every delayed craving was evidence. Every walk instead of a smoke break was evidence. And slowly, brick by brick, that evidence built a new identity. Not a smoker trying to quit. A man who takes care of himself. A father who smells like someone his daughter wants to hug. This is the philosophy that emphasizes continuous improvement, commitment, and discipline, not through dramatic willpower, but through actions so small they seem almost meaningless until one day you look back and realize they moved you completely. By month 6, Daniel smoked his last cigarette. He didn't announce it. He didn't make a ceremony of it. He just realized one evening after dinner that he hadn't thought about smoking all day. And the day before that, the habit had quietly run out of room in the identity he had built. He still has the note Dr. Yamamoto gave him at that first appointment. 5 words written on a small card. Tiny actions build new people. That's the whole system. Find your real reason, your Ikigai. Build one microscopic promise, Kaizen. Accept the imperfect days, Wabi-Sabi. Keep going on the hard ones, Gambaru. And let every small action become evidence of who you are becoming. The identity shift that makes everything else possible. If you've been struggling with smoking, or honestly with any habit that feels bigger than you, this is how it works. Not in one giant leap, in 5 breaths, in a 10-minute delay, in one walk instead of one cigarette. Repeated quietly until the person you're becoming is simply the person you are. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the one habit you most want to change? I read every single one. and your answer might become the next story we tell on this channel. If this video gave you something real, share it with someone who needs it. And if you want to go deeper into these Japanese philosophies and see exactly how they apply to other areas of life, the video coming up next will show you the full system in action. Don't miss it.